Small school districts consistently struggle with compliance and reporting. What reforms would you champion to meaningfully reduce this burden while maintaining the accountability? And how do you envision CDE supporting small school districts?
This is clearly a problem, especially when it comes to resources and capacity for small districts. So very broadly, we need to move to a posture where CDE is a partner and not a proctor for small districts. And so, among the things that I would work very hard on doing is streamlining and standardizing reporting across agencies to make sure that we reduce redundancy and reduce some of the strain on reporting. We need some legislative fixes for overregulation across the system. And that's why I believe, and I think others on this call would say the same thing, that experience in Sacramento is actually very important. And beyond that, we need to make sure that small districts have the resources to provide whatever level of reporting is necessary, and a set of metrics that are appropriate but not onerous, and to also ensure that any district that is doing its work well over time should get some level of waiver or allowance, and let's let the results speak for themselves, as they do, I think, fairly forcefully for those districts that do well, so that teachers and other educators can focus on students rather than paperwork. Thanks.
Thank you for that question. In a nutshell, we need to cut red tape, but not cut accountability and responsibility. Small and rural districts spend too much time checking boxes and not enough time able to really serve their students. And our goal should be more and better, stronger accountability, not more paperwork. As SPI, I would convene a task force of small district leaders and teachers to identify reporting and streamlining compliance, particularly around the LCAP. The CDE should be a beacon of support, a support agency, not a compliance agency, providing technical assistance, regional supports. And the reason for this is we should maintain our transparency while reducing the burdens of shared data dashboards and coordinating audits rather than applying multiple layers of review. And that is how we can do a much better job of supporting the challenges that small and rural districts are facing.
I worked for 20 years running early childhood education programs, a lot of state-funded preschool, state-funded infants and toddler, state-funded childcare programs. I never felt as though the system was as user-friendly as it needed to be. I think rather than standardizing our systems, we need to personalize our systems. I think the sense of auditors coming from far away, using metrics and criteria to judge a rural or small district with the same criteria that they would an urban district is not what we need to be doing. We know that rural districts, small districts in particular, have a completely different set of challenges. We know that training and technical assistance has been a challenge. In the 6 bonds that we did under my speakership in the legislature, we always provided a set aside for training and technical assistance for those water districts, for those transportation agencies that didn't have the funds available to have sort of grant writers and those types of things. So training and technical assistance for small districts is something that has to be built into the CDE programs. And also, I think there needs to be metrics, again, that are not standardized, but that are personalized, that fit for each individual entity. We know that every school district is not the same. We know the challenges that they face are different. And it doesn't make sense to take a district like Little Lake, for example, and use the same metrics, the same sort of auditing systems that you would use for San Francisco or Oakland or Los Angeles. So again, we need to personalize. We need to make sure that the metrics and the procedures are appropriate for the districts that we're looking at. And again, training and technical assistance, I know that's so incredibly important to small districts, and we need to make sure we do that.
So as chair of the education committee, I've worked on several bills to try to address this issue. We know we passed legislation to require the Department of Education to come out with a report on reports to make recommendations. Their report, frankly, was a little disappointing, and so I know that this is an ongoing issue that I continue to hear. Again, from superintendents, school districts throughout the state. Just a few weeks ago, I heard from Dr. Newman at the Association of California School Administrators Conference in Ontario about how, especially small and rural districts, have to file all these reports, many redundant, many requirements that came out of the COVID funding. Of course, the standard thinking is that with every new funding, there needs to be some accountability. But clearly, as we've studied this issue in the Education Committee, too many reports, often asking the same information. Administrators often asking, does anyone actually look at these reports? So we need to make sure that we're, especially for the small districts, where, again, I know I've heard from small district administrators directly. You don't have enough staff to be able to keep up with all the reporting requirements. That is the challenge with small districts, and so I am in the process of working with my Education Committee staff to specifically address this issue and to look at potential legislation to introduce in the beginning of the new year to address this issue. And I would love to work with the Small School Districts Association on this.